Hi, how is everyone? So, most of you know me. My name is Robin, and I'm coming on this evening to have a bit of a chat about the full moon. And we know today, so we had our full moon in Sydney time at 2:18 this afternoon, and also our partial lunar eclipse. And yeah, so very powerful energies. The moon is in Pisces, and so those of you who know about Pisces, we know it can be dreamy. We know it can be the thinning of the veil between worlds. Um, so much to do with our senses and our knowing, and also just being open to receive messages and at this time as well. There can be things that aren't seen, there can be things that are hidden, there can be things that are unexplainable, and they can be beyond the words, they can be quite extraordinary. Um, I don't know. It's a really powerful full moon, and the reason that I wanted to talk about it is we talk about the moon every month, and there's posts up about the full moon every month and about how we need to let go of that which no longer serves us, and obviously the story varies depending on the sign that it's in. So, but what I wanted to say today is that how we really need to work with the moon? Like we can work with the cycles, we can work with the moon. A lot of people do ceremony and the burning of, papers of that which they no longer, a list of that which they no longer need. My experience this month, and I think it's a very Piscean experience actually, has been totally different. And it's sort of opened my eyes to thinking, do we really need to do all that? Do you think we could come back to being? If we come back to being, we can have so much shown to us or so many opportunities presented to us. Do we have the stillness? Do we create the opportunity for this, especially with the moon in Pisces? So I wanted to share a little bit about an experience a few days ago. I was doing a meditation actually, and I went into this dreamlike state. It was just blissful. It was this most amazing space. And I saw an image, and my mother was coming towards me. Now, she's been deceased for some time now, several years, and she was coming towards me, but it was more the feeling that I was getting. There was this energy of just pure love, just pure love. It's almost like she was spirit. You know what I mean? So she was coming towards me, and she leant down and she kissed me on the cheek. And I can't tell you what that felt like. It was just like, oh my gosh. And I actually came straight out of my meditation, straight out of that state, sitting there dumbfounded, knowing that this wasn't a dream or a meditation. This was a visitation. My mother was here in spirit, and I don't doubt that for a moment. And so I guess what I'm saying is, if we create these amazing spaces, anything can happen. Now, I've had experiences before. I'm just sharing that because we are at this time with the full moon. So been a long time since I've had an experience though where you really feel it so much. And, with the watery energy of Pisces, there is the feels. So with that, I thought, oh, that's incredible. But I never thought much more about it. Just went about my day, but knowing I'd had this amazing experience and telling my husband and just saying it was incredible. Um, then what happened is this is another fascinating story as for me, but I had to share it. So many of you know that I've been working with human design and the gene keys, and you all know I love astrology. So anything celestial, probably very wonderful for Pisces as well. Um, and was looking at a couple of the gates in human design. And so these gates were all about, openness, vulnerability, intimacy, right through to friction and all the feels, I guess, in relationships. So it was amazing. And I'm looking at these two gates, which come together as a channel of intimacy. And it's like I was listening to Richard Rudd, who was talking about this, and he was saying how intimacy is very much dependent on the clearing away of anything that comes through from an ancestral line through it, like it's all stored in our DNA, our cellular memory. And so we don't only carry what's happened in this life within ourselves, but we also carry that's come through the ages. So when we're working with this channel in our body, we are actually coming to that space. It's like, how can we move further toward intimacy? And the way that we move toward intimacy is actually moving through those experiences that show up in the shadow of us feeling dishonesty in relationship. So if there's dishonesty in a relationship, there's a blockage from us moving forward in intimacy. So this can be friends, beautiful, close friends or our intimate partner. And so we think we can have this level of intimacy, but how real is it? And how intimate is it? And what does that mean to you? And then what would I say? How conditional is it? So if there's been a history there, it's very hard for people to open their hearts to love without some form of barrier or conditioning, or, it's something that we have to work on all through our lives in relationships. So he was talking about that and the gift when we experience the dishonesty in relationship, the gift that we can gain when we work through all that is intimacy. So that's a very vast difference going from dishonesty to, you can't even say it, dishonesty to intimacy. So anyway, long story short, he had a meditation. Well, it was a meditation. And I started the meditation just to hear how it started, whether I felt like doing it or not. And I thought, no, I don't feel like doing it. I will do it tomorrow or the next day, depending on how I feel. So that was that. No more was thought about it. And then what I then did was, without realizing, obviously, I went to bed. Funny that. I went to bed to have a good night's sleep. Anyway, I had these dreams, and they were, what would be the word? Groundbreakingly grief-stricken dreams. They were so real. And there was, we get snippets, like in the dream, there were snippets from my past, but there are also snippets that don't sort of line up, but the feeling, you get the feeling. And so those of you who've experienced deep grief would know the feeling that I'm talking about. So I awoke about 3 something in the morning with this gut-wrenching grief. Oh, it's phenomenal. I can't even explain it. So, we do things in this life to work through whatever we're working through, however, whatever modalities we use. Anyway, I had this grief-stricken feeling and I was just sitting there. Now, I wasn't even sobbing or crying. I was a witness to what was happening, but I was also feeling it. And I mean, feeling it. So this is very Piscean that we would be feeling it. And so I'm sitting there and it's almost like that knees up to the chest, bent over, either that or fetal position could do, and I was in this space and I went, oh my goodness. And I thought, oh, I just need to get up and walk around a little bit. And because this seemed so real, and there were things there that were just like, wow, what was that? Oh yeah, I remember that. And, so there were things coming up from deep within. So again, we look at that partial lunar eclipse, as things get revealed. So it's like things were coming up from within the depths of me, not all related to me, but within the depths of me. And I was thinking, okay, I need to have a bit of a walk before I go back to bed. And then I'm going to go back into a beautiful slumber because that was just something I can't explain. So what happened? I went back to bed, and you would not believe it. I went back into the same dream. Now, that doesn't happen very often for me, but I went back into the same dream again, feeling it to the depths. The grief, I can't even tell you about it. It was like something that it was just like, I don't know. I don't know. And I can still sense it now and feel it now, as you could imagine, because I'm talking about it. But, you know, I wasn't sad. I wasn't, angry. I wasn't anything. I was just sitting in grief. And I went, okay, so, but it was more about where to from here. What am I going to do now? In the second part of the dream, okay, this is it. It feels like shit. It feels really bad and I need to move on. What do I need to do? And so it was like, yeah, that's it. So I went to sleep. Oh, well, that was after that. I woke up, sorry, and I got up and I went, holy Somali, I feel like I've run a marathon. And then I thought, I had no idea that not doing a meditation was actually leaving me open to have all those things come in dream state. So we're looking at dishonesty and then the intimacy and the gift of all of that, which comes with the gene keys, is transparency. So this is when we get to see everything so real. And I was like, it all happened. It all happened in a dream state. Can you believe it? Like, it was like, oh. Anyway, I was chatting about it with someone, and I mean, seriously, I couldn't explain to them. They wouldn't get, no one would get what I felt because it was a feeling that was so deep. It was old, it was deep. I felt like it was being shoveled up and pulled out, whatever it was from within the depths of me. And sharing it, but it was like, why am I sharing this? Because when something's really deep, it's just words sort of don't cut it. So I'm sharing it with you now in the hope that you can get a grasp of what I'm trying to say. So here we have a Pisces full moon, a partial eclipse. Things are being revealed, things are being shoveled up, chipped on out, really. And then today, when I woke up, I was like, I feel amazing. I can't believe this. What's happened? I feel so good. And it was like, and so I guess what I'm saying is if we're open for experiences, or maybe we need to be open for experiences, even looking around us in the world as it is, we don't have to do something to actually get the answers. We don't have to do something to be connected to the moon. What about being, you know? So it was in my beingness, either, meditation or in dream state. It's in the beingness and the stillness that things can happen. And so I guess what I'm saying is every month when you see the posts that say you need to write down what you need to let go of, or maybe it can be done another way. Maybe you can ask for it to be done in the dream state. Or maybe you just need to have your senses and awareness heightened. Does that make sense? So I guess and then what I thought about was, oh my gosh, it's the full moon. It's the full moon in Pisces with the partial eclipse today. And it was like, I went through a process. I felt the love. So there's like a polarity. I felt the love with my mother. Then I went into the depths of grief, of understanding it, like without knowing or understanding what it was about even, but the depth of it, I felt it. And then when I felt it, I felt like it was being pulled out of me or coming out of me. And then today I feel like, wow, what was that? Like, what even was that? I can't even tell you. And I don't very often share experiences like this. It was just like, I have to share it because, oh, yeah, I didn't write out a list of what I wanted to let go of. I was obviously looking at certain gates and channels and gene keys, which obviously took charge in there. How silly was I, really? No, I'm only joking. It was a good thing. I see it as a good thing. But we can make jokes. We're allowed to make jokes. And I think so, whatever I was obviously just, and I wasn't soul searching. I was just having a read and how interesting is this? This means this and this and this. And anyway, it all went in and then it all happened. So I've got nothing else really to say. And I don't even know if that makes sense to you. But yeah, just be open. Like, did anything unusual happen to you during this full moon? Did something that was untangible or you can't explain happen? Or did you have a light bulb moment, like like a spiritual alertness or like an awakening or an epiphany? Or so just be open there. It doesn't have to be all written down and burned. And it's like things can happen in so many ways. So, thank you for listening to me, sharing something that was very deep and very amazing, and knowing that some major process happened that I didn't really have a part in. Well, obviously I did, but on a subconscious level. So, thank you all very much. And yeah, if anyone wants to share anything that they may have experienced, I'd love to hear it. So, thank you. Bye.